A little too much orange on that one. This brush holds a lot of water. Okay, so we'll get the so I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I'm just going to, if there's something that I see, you know, that I'm about to do that I think should be explained, then I'll say something. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to do quite a bit of painting, let you follow along. You can learn a lot just by watching. I probably won't do this whole picture in this. I don't know. We'll see. And as you can see, this is something to tell, as I touch the side there, it's going to grab that, the colors that are in that one. And because this whole bunch of flowers are all pretty much the same mixture, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just fine if that happens. Wow, that color. I think that was alizarin crimson. I guess I had a little more on my brush than I thought I did. That's okay. We can come into it, pick it up, place it over somewhere else, because we're going to be doing those anyway. So we put that in there, and then just kind of wet this one. And then add some of the... Boy, this brush adds holds a lot of water. I haven't used this one lately. I've forgotten that it holds a good amount of water. A little darker on the edges there. You can do yours. If you do one, you can of course do yours in whatever colors you want. But this is I believe that's a cadmium orange. And I have rose. And I think I'm also going into a red as well. pretty. And this smaller flower is going to be the same, different blends, same blends. I'm sure I'll vary it up in different ways, but for the most part, that's... Oh, grab that one again. That color is very striking and beautiful. Well, I don't know what happened with the TV, but it switched to something, and I don't want to listen to that. So we've basically got some reds mixing in with the orange, which is so pretty. Remembering to leave, some white areas, important. And going into the other one, some of these other ones that are dry. Sometimes I start off with the orange, and sometimes I start off with the red, so that they kind of, vary a little bit. And this is a nice brush. I have so many brushes. We all have a lot of brushes in the painting world. Well, no matter what kind of painter you are, you end up with a lot of brushes. And then you switch off and use different ones now and then. I'm going to grab some of this here and pull it right over into this one. Keeping in mind as you're painting to remember about leaving a white space. If you don't, it's not the end of the world by any means. You just can use some whites, different whites that you have. It's always an option. So it's really not anything to, stress over very much. So let's see. Kind of wanted to outline, get some on the tips here. But this one's getting dry, so it's not going to spread as well. So I'm going to have to kind of help it along a little bit there. I do hope you're trying some of these things out, using the videos to, try some of these techniques. It had said rain and snow for here, and I'm sure glad that it didn't do that. It actually hasn't even rained yet, so I'm kind of hoping it all kind of passes us by. Really looking forward to spring. Just nice spring weather. Okay, so now we'll just go over here into this one. And I think I may take the orange, and I think I may make this one just so that there's like one or two that's a little bit different. I think I'm going to make this one mostly orange. Put a little more orange in there. just sort of doing my own thing here. However you see it, you see it, so that when you're doing yours, if you do, you just do your thing. All right. Oops, that's not the color I was looking for. There we go. Pretty how that works, isn't it? That's that beautiful thing about watercolor when it just kind of spreads. It is so pretty. I'm going to come around here, and in one little area here, I'm going to wet the paper, and I'm going to take my, a little bit of my, that was a metallic blue, but it wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. So I'm going to mix some other blues in there. This is a rather wet on wet flower. And then right around in here. Now where I'm touching that other, it's going to go into it a little, and I don't mind, because I wouldn't mind at all if that mauve color goes in and mixes up with my green. It wouldn't matter at all. All right. And let's see, we want to get a little bit of that red and orange mixture I had going on up in this corner and area. Just for some background. I'm going to take out some of the colors of this one there. All right. So this will be, some of it will be, well, I get that in there. Some of it will be a real loose, and some of it will be a bit more defined. That's the way this particular painting is going to work out, or what I felt like doing, basically. Some Viridian. Let that just kind of, that is a strong color. Let that be a fairly big flower there. A little too much water there, so it's about to drip out. So I'm going to take a dry brush and then go back to my color and work it around. come down here. Now, did you see how that happened? I just barely touched that, and that water and paint exploded. So that's how that all works, folks. I'll take some purple if I can find it. We're going to have some some darker areas of color and some lighter areas of color all over. It's just going to kind of blend all over. The absolute beauty of watercolor. Just gorgeous. Like I said, some will be formed, some will not be formed. I'm swishing my brush around pretty quickly. I'm trying to get some different effects here and there. Put some of that sparkle one up here and see if we can make it sparkle this time. Okay, that all seems to be fine. And in between, we want a bit of a darker, in between they're pretty much dry. So I can go in between there now, add the darker without, like totally disturbing what the flower is. I don't want it to mix much right now. I'm going in between for some darker values in between the flowers, so to speak, to make them pop out. And we're going to grab some of this. It's pretty. It's actually coming out really pretty. Oh, I know what color else I wanted in here. I wanted some yellows. And I forgot to put it in. So we're going to come back here and see if I can keep putting my hand in that. See if I can get some yellow. Yeah, there we go. Wanted some more defined areas of white. So I'm going into my acrylic white. And just so I can define a couple of places a lot more for the white, I'm going to use it that way. I have several colors that I keep in acrylic for working with watercolor. And some of this red kind of got a bit faded. So we're gonna, watercolor will dry a lot lighter. So you have to, compensate however you want for all that. So we'll just take a fairly damp brush, and wherever I want to have a bit more of that reddish color, go back in and put it in, because they're starting to dry now, so I'm not going to be able to do it as well if I don't get a move on. Okay. Then we just need to take, soften out edges and so forth. Okay, so a little bit better. A little bit more of what I was going to add some of that into there. And then I'm going to go to burnt sienna or burnt add something like, my brush isn't, this brush is not quite as delicate as some of the others, so I wasn't getting what I wanted, but that'll do. And then what I'm going to do is add some of this really pretty, somehow in one of the mixes that I have here, I mixed enough colors to end up making this pretty, like, it's kind of like a burgundy, which is really pretty. I think what I'm going to do is switch the brush, whoops, because I'm wanting something a bit more delicate, and I'm not getting it with that. So let's, and then when I come here, get that a little bit more wet. Well, okay, too much water. Leave that alone for a few minutes. And then we're going to go into some of the green and pull out a few of those things with the green. Pretty. This underneath is not totally dry yet, so it's going to give you the effect that you're seeing. And I am aware of that. I just, this is what I want to have at the moment. And I'm layering, as you can see. So like I said, some of this will be wet on wettish, so to speak. And some of this will be wet on dry, or you know, you'll get a more detailed look. And I'm going to go in a little bit again with my white, because there's a few areas I wanted to stay whiter than what it did. So we're just going to adding it in. Works very well. Well, I guess I got a little more than I wanted there, so let's see if I can. That's okay. That'll leave that just the way it is. Usually the best thing to do is kind of leave something that you, and right, I'm going to go right around like this to make that center a bit darker. I wanted that to be a bit darker. It's coming out very pretty. And then I lost some of the color here. Okay. And I know that this formed lines, I happen to like that look. So I'm, you know, basically leaving that like that. Something that's a little less defined there. And there. And a lighter color. So we're getting, you know, as I mentioned, we're getting some things that are defined and some things that are not. And then we're layering on top of all that. I love these. I love doing these floral arrangements. I think they're fun and they come out so pretty. See, I think we'll add some viridian to that green and try to droop down some of these. Now I'm doing the tip down first because I wanted a more of a rounder top than, you know, getting the pointed top. It's kind of like the opposite way. And of course, those are things you can do. See with that, I had some green. And I'm going to go right over here and do the same thing, only it's going to be in green with a little bit of that other color on it, which is, you know, really pretty when you mix the colors. I love mixtures of colors. I just love it. Yeah, that's nice. Now I just want to kind of take a look at it. Whoops, almost lost that brush. Take a look at it for a minute. All right, so I think I'll take some of this, these two colors here, mix these together, get a little bit of a purpley something or other. Just whatever you see in your mind, that's what you put down. Well, it didn't come out quite what I thought, but good enough. These things, whatever they're called. And I think I'll get some, nope. Okay. Some blue. Have some lights and some darks. Go into the white. Sort of put it on one side. Now I want to define the centers a little more, just in areas, because I like the way it spread out the first time. There we go. I'm using a smaller round brush now with a good tip. So I want to get a little bit more defined edges in a few places here. Hopefully I'm not mumbling. Sorry, when I get really concentrating, I tend to mumble. Of course, I said I wasn't even going to talk much through it, so I guess we're doing fine. Still. Okay. Okay, I think that's fine for that. That one I want to leave that way so it can indicate it's a little more subtle. I just want to kind of throw in some that are lesser colored and some of these that are more pigmented, like that. By pressing down and lifting up on your brush, you'll get the different effects, moving it around and so forth. It's all about that sort of thing. All right, I'm gonna put some of this, add some green. I'm trying to think of where I want to go here. Yes, some nice defined ones down under here. Yeah, that works nice. And then probably a couple of nicer defined ones right there. And then I'm going to go back in here to the center, because I wanted this to be, I wanted to come around the inside here with some nice darker pigment in just the center, just the center area of this painting within the flowers. Do you see what I'm saying? To kind of bring them out more. And then I'm going to soften a bit, leaving this pretty strong area right there. Bring it down a little bit, but yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay. And then probably add some darker to one side here. And I need to put something here. Okay. Not sure if that's exactly what I wanted, but well, yeah, what I think I'll do, no, I really like that green. I don't want to lose that green. So we're going to leave that green, but we're going to darken it a bit. It's a little wet there. Okay, there we go. Gives that layered kind of look. I wanted this leaf to have some darker hues to it and lighter hues up next to that. And then we'll just take this here, and I think we'll grab the yellow. We can sort of just swish that around and bring some down here. And I think, folks, I'm going to go into a couple of places with my gold. If I go back here, and because in the right lighting, oops, I had a little too much on there. In the right lighting, this would sparkle. So you see what I'm doing? So in just certain places, we're putting in the gold, which in the right light, like I said, will sparkle for you. You can't really see it now, but it's a gold metallic. So and sometimes I'll take it and I'll just kind of go around and dot it as well, like this. And now, friends, I'm calling that finished. I think it's very, very pretty. It's using some, what do you call it, wet on wet, and it's using the wet on dry, and so forth. So you have a few different techniques going on here, and it turns out to be something absolutely gorgeous. So check out my other tutorials, friends. There's a lot of stuff going on in this new channel of mine. Got quite a few paintings out there and quite a few teachings and just quite a few different tutorials with just my talking to you to just, encouragement. So, which is my goal, to get you painting. So have a great rest of your day, folks, and bye for now.